And Eric, my best winemaker, Roll Tide.
Just got him to say Roll Tide. That's the first time. I've been trying to get him to say Roll Tide for about a week now. But
What are we sipping on?
I think we're sipping on some Saint Chamond, 2011.
I think the main thing is that we're already drinking it 11:30 in the backyard in Mississippi. Strong power move.
It's a tough job. Somebody's got to do it, We got a lot of strong wine in front of us today from all over. Here in Mississippi, they seem to they have one thing in common at least. Eric Railsback. Wait, actually, two things in common.
Love steps.
Two things in common. He makes it or imports it or sells it, and then I sell it for him. Eric, why don't you give us a little rundown about your background, like how you started out in wine?
I started out in wine very young. Grew up in a religious family, no drinking. But my brother would sneak in bottles of wine when I was in middle school in Kansas. Grew up in a dry county. So it was great. My older brother is 5 years older. He was a sommelier. He really hooked me up and taught me a bunch of things, introduced me to all kinds of people. We grew up after Kansas, moved to the Willamette Valley in Oregon, which is another great wine region. My mom's side of the family were cattle farmers up in the Gorge, which is a super beautiful area and a place that I think is really exciting. I think the Willamette, it's been around obviously forever. It's the most famous wine growing region in Oregon. I think now there's starting to be some cool things going on. It's really the beginning, the infancy of what's happening in wine country out there. And there's this great vineyard that we work with. It's all farmed organically, pretty cool site. And it's actually planted to what works really well in Oregon. So it's just third leaf now. So, the grapes really start firing after 4 years. So production is growing every year, but first year, 21, there was almost nothing from the vineyard. So we made 2.5 tons, about 130 cases, pretty small.
Yeah, I got 5 cases for the entire state to sell.
Because we love Sippy.
Yeah.
That's a strong.
Mississippi strong.
Yeah, that's a strong allocation.
3.5%. But
3.5%. Well, hey.
Where did this interaction and connection come from?
I flew out to San Francisco for a tasting. Our boy Eric here had on an Alabama hat, and I had a suit on. And I wanted to say, "Hey, Alabama, I'm Mississippi, baby." And he's no, not Alabama. After these tastings, there's always an after tasting. I was at a bar having a beer. A little bit nervous being from Mississippi and the first time in Cali, and Eric pulled up, got out, saw me, came in, had a beer with me. Then we walked over to the tasting where that was at, and we kind of hit it off. And I told him, I said, "Hey, man, Alabama plays Ole Miss this year." He hit me up. He sent a case of bangers. We had some good wines, and we hung out and had a good time. And he said, "Oh, by the way, I make wine. Let's do some business in Mississippi. Here, let me pour your glasses." This is the 2020 Estate Chardonnay.
Now, you touched on your company a little bit there. You want to tell us a little bit about your company and what your aspect of the industry is?
My official title is broker. I sell wines for the state of Mississippi. No one thought people in Mississippi had a palate. But what they didn't know, and what I knew, is all my friends did. They loved these great wines, but they would buy them in Memphis. They would go to New Orleans if you're on the coast. They'd go to Birmingham. They would buy these great wines from everywhere else, which is lost revenue for the state. So I wanted to up the game in Mississippi, not only make the state more money, but also bring these great wines to the state. Wines that you don't get to try all the time. Wines that really are unavailable. And that's what I personally really love, is bringing great wine to people who appreciate it.
I think that's what we all do, though, right? Everything we do is very small. We make these wines not for everyone. We don't want everyone to like these wines. We want just the people that actually truly get wine, because how many people get good wine?
Well, I really see this direction, especially in our market, where people are branching out and trying new things. And that's why, it's been over the course of the past 5 years, just the selection of Mississippi has grown greatly with the portfolios that you carry. You've been in Mississippi for 5, 6 years now, let's say. You've seen the market developing, growing, and you work with markets all over the country. What's your take on the Mississippi market as you see it comparing to all these large markets where a lot of producers focus their time and effort?
Do I need to leave for this, or are you gonna?
Wesley should go.
I should go.
No, I mean, obviously I love it because I come to Mississippi once, twice, at least twice a year. You know, I wouldn't.
Well, that's just to see us, right?
Yeah, but I wouldn't invest my time. I think a lot of people. I talk to people. You know, every time I'm in New York, oh, where are you going? I'm Mississippi. There. Why are you always down there? And you guys are doing some crazy stuff, which makes it really exciting. There's so many other states that should have more potential than Mississippi, but Mississippi is crushing it because you guys care.
Well, guys, you know, we've spent a lot of time talking today, and I mean, honestly, I'm looking forward to the book, Eric, because I mean, I know you have a life story that we could talk about all day. So the Railsback story, I want to see it in store soon. Wes, we appreciate you hosting today. You know, your backyard's very scenic. You know, this is our natural environment. This is the best place to talk today. Eric, you know, we love you coming down to, you know, the SIP. If you're wearing a Bama shirt in the Grove this weekend, I'm gonna rip it off.
The Rebel Rags right after this. It's on.
Cool. Let's do it.
What do we do for lunch?